Welcome to Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda. The Glastonbury Music Festival is a big deal in the UK, started back in 1970 as the Pop, Blues and Folk Festival, and it's now attended by over 200,000 people every year spread across 5 days. And this year the posters are already out promoting the event, but there's been a bit of a row. You see, the first version of the poster featured, first of all, there's loads of bands participating and artists. So they listed the headline acts at the top, which was the Arctic Monkeys, Guns N' Roses, Elton John and Lizzo. And then all the other performers were all listed in alphabetical order. Well, apparently the American singer Lana Del Rey apparently complained that she wasn't given important enough billing, that she wasn't up on the top line. She was down there under L because of her alphabetical order. And the rumour is, and it's reported in the press, that she was threatening to withdraw from performing at the festival unless this was changed. So now there's a new version of the poster for the event that has the first set of headline acts and then the second tier of headline acts and then everybody else according to alphabetical order. So Lana Del Rey now finds herself, her wishes are granted and she's in the second line of headline acts. I've never ever heard of her, but there you go. Now, I've experienced that, seeing my name on a poster for a big event, along with loads and loads of other names for some Christian events that I've played a small part in. And if you look carefully enough in the small print and I go down to N or P, depending if it's ranked by Christian name or surname, I can find my name there. I must admit, I've never got annoyed that my name wasn't higher in the list or wasn't in the headlines. I'm just amazed to see my name on there with some amazing ministries and people. But this thing about comparing ourselves with others and wanting to be recognized as better than others is part of humanity, but it's not part of humanity as God created us. It is part of our fallen human condition. Part of our sinfulness, part of our alienation from the standards of God is the desire to see our name up there in lights, to have fame, to be seen as being more important and more recognized than other people. And that reveals itself in a multitude of ways. It might be something like this, where your billing is on a poster. For most of us, that doesn't apply. Or it may be in the titles that you use. I'm amazed at how many Christians, and particularly Christian leaders, desire so much, crave recognition and want to be called doctor and want to be called apostle and man of God and even people that would get offended if you don't call them pastor but just refer to them by their name. I've never quite understood that, I have to say. I'm very happy being Nick. If somebody wants to call me Brother Nick, that's the best title I think anyone can ever have, to be part of the family of God. But we have people that have never earned a doctorate calling themselves doctors. They'll pay money to unaccredited degree mills to get those letters before or after their name, or take an honorary doctorate, which is never something that should qualify you to be referred to as doctor, and then go around proclaiming that they are Dr. So-and-so. I grew up, my father actually was a doctor in biology. My daughter is a doctor, she's a PhD. And I believe if you've earned a doctorate, you got the right to call yourself doctor. But whenever people want to tack these names and letters and titles onto themselves because they think it makes them feel more important, particularly in Christian leadership, it makes me feel sick to the pit of my stomach. You know, when people want people to see that they can afford more expensive clothes than anything else. I like clothes. I like to buy clothes that are comfortable, that fit me, that I hopefully look all right on me. But you know what I've seen? That sometimes people, it's all about the label. One of the funniest things I see is when you buy a jacket and it has the label, a little label there on the cuff. And the first thing I do when I buy the jacket is snip the little bits of thread to take that off, because who wants to walk around with a stupid label on the cuff of your jacket? But there's people actually leave those things on so people can see they they've got a Hugo Boss jacket. It's part of our sinful human condition to want to show that we're better or richer or whatever than somebody else. Even desiring recognition from everybody else. You know, in Luke chapter 14, Jesus talked about this. Jesus talked about when you went to a meal. He said there would be the places at the top reserved for the most important guests. He said, don't go straight to them and try to get the best seat possible. You may well end up being embarrassed because somebody will come along and tell you, we've got some, that's for somebody else. You're going to go and sit way down here. He said, instead, take a lower seat. And if somebody wants to move you up to a higher seat, that's their business, but don't you worry yourself about it. And you know what? Jesus knew what he was talking about, as he always does. So let's make sure that we as Christians don't get caught up in this rat race of craving recognition, of craving to seem to be more important than somebody else. We don't need it. If you're a child of God, that's all the position you will ever need, and that's all the recognition you will ever need in Jesus' name. God bless you today. Have a great day. Join us again tomorrow for another Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda.